All right. Hello, everybody. This is Alan Carpenter with Louisiana State Police. We missed due to some issues with the user conference, so we're trying to get our information out to you. Excited to talk about our CAD RMS project and communicate with the Mark43 team and not only employee team, but the team of users. So uh, thanks for spending some time with me today. One of the things that Louisiana State Police looks at and takes pride in is what's your why. The YouTube video there, not going to play it in the presentation, but if you copy down the link, go look at it. And it's a recruiting video for us, but it really focuses in on, why are you becoming a Louisiana State Trooper? What is the reason behind your why? And that's what drives our pride, helps drive the organization to try to keep us moving forward. So I wanted to share that with you as well. So a little bit of a further introduction. My name, as I said, is Alan Carpenter. I began my career with Louisiana State Police in January of 1990. I began at Troop C, which is the southern, if you look at that, the state of Louisiana, probably the southernmost troop. It's a little bit what you would call southwest of New Orleans and right along the Gulf Coast. I began in patrol, served time with SWAT, hostage rescue, then moved into detectives in New Orleans. Became a detective sergeant on an FBI task force, became a lieutenant, and then retired in 2019. I moved into the private sector where I was ultimately became president, chief operating officer, and part owner of one of the largest disaster claim companies in the United States, which gave me a whole different level of experience. Did that for a bit, kind of took some time off, and then State Police called and said we were looking to launch a CAD RMS and asked if I would come back. And since I grew up here and I have a combination of, as you can see, patrol, detective, and supervisory experience and private sector experience, took on the task to try to take Louisiana State Police and move us from where we currently sit, which is non-advanced technology, into Mark 43, which is a fantastic tool for us to use. So I'll give you a little introduction into Louisiana State Police. As a state police agency, we investigate all crimes, all hazards from a law enforcement agency. There are approximately 3,000 personnel total, 1,300 commissioned, 1,700 non-commissioned, three major divisions: patrol, Bureau of Investigations, and support. And our major resources, Criminal Justice Information Manager Repository, we're a statewide fusion center, statewide hazardous material safety section, and we also manage the statewide missing and exploited children repository, in addition to the traffic and patrol duties that we have. So different in some agencies where it's either just a Bureau of Investigation or a highway patrol, we manage a large variety of responsibilities underneath the umbrella of state police. So our problem, when we looked at what's going on, we had information silos, fragmented workflows, operational inefficiencies, which I would say are cornerstones of the outdated technology that we use here at State Police. We use Lotus Notes, and when we talk to some people kind of chuckle or they laugh and they wonder, I didn't know that was still around. Some of the newer, engineers and technology people probably have never heard of that, or they talk about how their grandparents used to use it. So we obviously are way behind where we need to be. We use shared drives, Excel spreadsheets, paper-based citations and reports, and then we have a couple external systems such as our DWI, evidence and crash reporting, but none of them speak or are connected to one another, I should say, and all of the technology is dated in which we're using. So we felt the solution would be by investing in enhanced technology platform that includes the computer-aided dispatch, a records management system. We want to have the ability to integrate crash reporting and e-citation, and that we, the Louisiana State Police, will immediately be able to gain benefit, not only from the reduction of risk, but improved workflows, greater statewide interoperability, and most importantly, enhanced situational awareness for our officer safety. As it stands now, outside of radio communication, if one of our officers, is in an emergency situation or calls in radio on the radio that officer down, the only way we know how to get to them is based on their last known reported location, and that gives us a starting point. And in today's world, that's really not effective or efficient, and definitely not safe for our officers. So, looking for a technology solution to help us bring this together was extremely important for us. So we looked at several different companies, six to be exact, and overall we felt that Mark43 was the best choice to allow state police to gain immediate benefit by utilizing their base platform and gain greater long-term benefit by hopefully building out other state police highway patrol modules. And what I mean by that is the base platform, as those of you that are using it, you know that was initially built and configured for more of a metropolitan law enforcement or a smaller geographic sheriff's office or PD. But we felt comfortable that those base pieces of Mark43 we could work with to help build out over our the entire geography of the state and keep our folks connected. And ultimately, we think that that'll provide us the platform that we need to move into the 21st century. We also believed on our research and the interest in Mark43 that this partnership would allow Mark43 personnel and platform to gain the additional experience they need to move into the state police, highway patrol, or a large geographic type agency across the country. And so we felt it was a good partnership. It wasn't one that was built on a platform that was rigid, that had no flexibility, or one that was just piecemeal that really couldn't be replicated. So that's how and why we selected the Mark43 platform. So a little bit about ourselves in the RMS field, or our detectives. Our case agents, we have a system called IRS, which is an incident reporting system. Our case agents would be responsible for not only being the lead investigative officer, but also to serve as the sole author. So if I had three additional officers that were assisting the case agent, they were doing interviews, they were taking witness statements, collecting evidence. All they would do is package that information up and bring it to the case agent, who would then have to regurgitate their words, their information, take their statements, and put it into a single narrative that would ultimately just build out this massive report. I've got a picture of it there. All of our reports were printed, tabbed out, put into these black binders. And depending on the size, we could have several binders such as this. And maybe a little bit smaller. Any type of evidence that we had associated with it, if it was digital evidence, would have to be burned to discs or thumb drives and slid into sleeves in the back of this report. And then we would have to print multiple copies of this report to bring to the district attorney's office and then the store for historical purposes. And just in today's world, that was just burdensome, and it really a difficult process for us. So what we've decided to do as we moved into the Mark43 system, and one of the value pieces that we felt was that the capabilities within the Mark43 case system allowed us to move to what I'm going to call each investigative action requires a supplement report that can be linked to the main report, but each investigative action, the report is completed by the author or the person who's initiating that action. So we were packaging all this together, and that was our mindset to do. Then what happened is day one, the first case we did was a outside agency officer involved shooting that we were tasked to investigate. Our detectives in Region 2 called and said, can we use the system? So we turned it on and began using it. The statistics here were as of that time of the investigation. So I had 59 attachments and 89 profiles. I think now that case is over, we have 180 attachments to that report, probably about 95 different profiles. All the tasks now are complete. I think it went up to about 35 or 40 tasks. But it allowed that case agent to focus. She was able to focus on the investigation. Each officer was able to task and do what they needed to do and do their own report and link it in together. And the supervisors were able to then manage that investigation from a greater level of case management rather than document management. So as we continue the report and case structure, so the way we're going to use this is our offense incident report will act as a primary supplement report or summary report. The case agent records a summary of actions in the primary report and then directs the reader to the appropriate supplement. All activities are captured on supplement reports. So if a case agent tasks the OIS team, they complete the task, they create the supplement. If the case agent goes out and does an interview themselves, they also do a supplement. So it's not where I've got part of the initial report is the case agent's narrative, and then part of the report is supplements of other parties. It will serve as a pure summary report, and then all of our supplements on all investigative actions. So when you're looking in the Mark43 system and you're looking in reports, on the right side, you've got the scroll bar and you can easily move back and forth between reports. So it's the reader doesn't lose place where they're at. And then when it's in the case jacket and then you're looking at it from the case standpoint, it's still easy to navigate and make sure that it's there. One of the things that we liked extremely well about the system is in the case jacket when I have evidence or supplements, and I've got, if I'm doing a audio recording, I've got that audio recording listed on a supplement. In my case jacket, I'm able to see that supplement. I can listen to that recording directly from the Mark43 system, or also either download or click and read the report at the same time. So when you go back a couple slides and look at where we were in the paper, this just brought us leaps and bounds forward with our case capability. The review process also allows streamlined review process. Historically, our investigator would complete the report, it would go to their sergeant, they would review it, then it would go to the lieutenant and he would review it, then it would go up to the captain and he would review it. So each person had to wait until the report was completely compiled and then it moved through a series of approvals. Now what we're able to do is as reports are completed and submitted, we get real-time approval. So the supervisor is able to stay engaged with the report and look at the reports as they're being submitted and approved from both the sergeant and lieutenant standpoint. Our command staff on major cases like this can navigate into the report and get real-time updates just by simply looking at the reports and staying in control of what's going on either throughout their region or statewide. This collaboration allows for a greater collaboration within the team. It also improves communications with our supervisors who are located in different geographic locations. It eliminates the need for additional status reports to be sent up on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. It definitely eliminates printing, labeling, binding copies of final reports. In that regard, one of the things that we're doing, we're working with our Office of Technology Services to create drop boxes for each of our JDCs. So ultimately what we will be doing is once those drop boxes are created, all reports that we create out of the create in the Mark43 system will be exported once they're finalized and moved into a drop box so that the district attorney can pull it electronically because some of our reports are extremely large and it's still, we don't want to get into printing and trying to package these reports. We can just move them to them electronically. Earlier, I guess last month, beginning of last month, we had a case report that had a terabyte of attachments that we needed to attach to it, and it went in. So we had to put them in. I think our limit is maxed at 5 gigs per upload, but it was a multi-year cold case homicide that our investigators were working at about a terabyte of information, and it went in and is nicely set there with that report that anyone can adjust and look at instead of being the report in a system and the evidence in a file cabinet. But our report that we started with, the number one officer involved shooting that we started with, according to the supervisors in Region 2, that previous process where an investigation that size would have taken us anywhere from 20 to 24 weeks from the incident to the report being delivered to the prosecutor. Currently, that process would have taken them probably about 9 to 10 weeks. That includes some delays associated with multiple hurricanes. I think it actually extended a little bit further, like out into 12 weeks due to some storm recovery. But as you can see, just that's a tremendous, you know, reduction in the time that it takes us to complete our investigations, but also that time it takes us to get information to the district attorney's office. So another extreme benefit for us by using this platform. So some of the challenges that we've been facing, at least on the RMS, and then now that we're launching CAD, the same thing. We've been writing reports for the same way for 20 years. It's just that's the way we've been doing it. It's the same software we've been using. The concept of an offense incident report serving as a summary report with the collaborative use of supplements has been the challenge for some of our guys. That's not the way we were taught. That's not the way we're doing it. But we're not only changing a technology platform here at Louisiana State Police, we're changing a culture. We're bringing our investigators into the 21st century with how they're able to put their reports together. So it's not just moving them into a new report writing system. We're actually taking the opportunity to build in better, using the technology to create better workflows, better accountability, and better standardization statewide. Since the evidence labels in the Mark43 system can't be printed until the report is submitted, which doesn't really fit how our workflow moves because the way our cases drag on and evidence is submitted, from different times throughout the investigation. We created an evidence property supplement that we set as an auto approve. So since we're adding supplements, anytime a trooper gets in evidence, they're able to come in, put in the evidence, submit it, print the label, drop it into the temp bin, and move on throughout the investigation without having to move the report in and out of a draft or approval standpoint. So that again, shows the flexibility of the Mark43 system to fit our needs. It was just simply adjusting the workflow. LSP is always operated as using separate commands within one department, and our software strategy reinforces this approach. Using the integrated Mark43 system, this will help us unify our approach to law enforcement. And what I mean by that is we have 3 regions in the state of Louisiana. Region 1 is the Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and north of the North Shore, they call it, north of the lake area, which is the southeast portion of the state. Region 2 would be the central, south, and southwest portion of the state. And then Region 3 is the central and north part of the state. Each one is under a different command. Each one wrote reports differently. Each one submitted their reports differently. And by using one integrated system, it'll allow us to begin streamlining all of our approach so that as a state police agency, it doesn't matter whether you're a detective in Shreveport or a detective in New Orleans, your reports are written the same way. We're able to approve them across the region. So I can have a trooper write a report in New Orleans and be approved by a supervisor in the north part of the state if need be, and not have any connection issues or any problems, but all the reports are built the same because we're integrating our systems together. Getting buy-in from the troopers on the value of sharing information across divisions is also going to be a big challenge for us. Currently, right now, information that a uniformed trooper collects on a traffic stop, they use it to complete a citation. That citation goes into a file cabinet in that troop area, and very rarely is any information shared with our CID detectives, and vice versa. Information detectives are using never makes it to the uniformed patrol officer. By entering information into the system, we're now able to see with the Mark40, the combination of the CAD and the RMS. I can have a trooper in the western part of the state stop for example, a motor carrier, 18-wheeler. They could put them out of service for a brake violation, leave, and 4 hours later, that 18-wheeler is involved in an accident on the east part of the state, and we're able to immediately tell that that vehicle was previously put out of service, which in our system before Mark43, that would have never been determined. Our investigators can see what the troopers are doing. We can put information in and immediately search data. Some of this is just with enhanced technology, but also combining the Mark43 CAD with the RMS just gave us a complete seamless integration of information that is going to work. It just requires troopers to put more data into the system. The more data we put in, the better we can share information across departments and the more statistical data that we can gather. So it's a challenge, but it's one that we're excited to overcome because of how it'll help us move forward. So how will we also improve our workflows and what other efficiencies can we gain? Command staff will have mobile dashboards, will provide enhanced real-time situational awareness across commands. The enhanced statistical reporting will help us improve strategic planning and increase our budgeting capabilities. Operations will be able to create efficiencies in daily workflows, reduce reliance on paper-based reporting, improve performance and statistical reporting, as well as enhance our data collection capabilities. We launched CAD in our Region 2 Sunday and Monday of this week. I yesterday took and created one of the analytics dashboards from Mark43 just on some base pieces of information comparing the 3 troops associated with that launch, such as property crashes, injury crashes, citations issued, response times, just things that we were able to pull out, just basically pull out of the dashboard, send it out to command staff. And first thing this morning, I got a call from the lieutenant colonel over my section saying command staff would like a full briefing on how to use analytics this week. So that's exciting for us because they've never had the ability to see this kind of data and information. And we're only talking about 2 days of data. And so I really think the efficiencies gained will be even greater than we initially anticipated when it comes to the command staff. So how is our implementation to date? As I said, we've been somewhat fragmented in that. So our Region 1 detectives, which is Covington, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans, they've all been launched and active in using the system. Region 2, which is our Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, Holman, Lake Charles, they were all launched and active in the system. Region 3 is Alexandria, Bossier, Shreveport, Monroe. All of them are active in the system. After we began launching, we got requests from the FBI in New Orleans that was working a violent crime task force with state police and the New Orleans Police Department. So they asked if they could use the system. We created a way using roles and permissions to allow the task force to operate so they get the full benefit of the system. However, there's not a sharing of information between what's going on in the task force is not visible to the troopers using the main tenant, and what's going on in the main tenant is not visible to the task force operators. So it took us a little bit to kind of test and work through, but that's working perfectly. So we're all getting the benefit of that. Since the presentation was created, we've launched our criminal patrols unit statewide, and then as of like I said, this week we've launched Region 2 patrol. Cover that here. So our internal affairs is another group that we're looking at trying to bring in. Also, I've got our gaming investigations and commercial vehicle inspection group that we're going to be implementing in over the next probably month and a half. Internal affairs is going to take a little bit longer because we're trying to create the tenant to actually match their workflow, and some does and some doesn't. So we're working with them on it. Here I said once we're able to complete our MDT configuration, we'll begin testing and launching CAD statewide. We were able to complete the bulk of the testing that we needed. We chose to go live without fully having the operational capacity of our AVL on our MDTs. As the captain over Troop I said that we're looking at a $70,000 fifth wheel trying to pull it with an Isuzu because our MDTs are old and we're just not able to get some of the connections like we want. However, the system is working phenomenal for us. Even without the AVL, we'll grow and get things configured to pull on the AVL. So we successfully launched Region 2. We'll launch Region 3 2 weeks from now, and then a week later we'll launch Region 1. So we'll have all of our patrol by the 5th of April. We'll have all of our patrol operations in the Mark 43 system statewide, and we'll then really be able to begin sharing information throughout the department. We expect in early 2021 we'll also complete and finish the configuration for the gaming and commercial vehicle, motor vehicle inspection. Uh, Another thing state police is doing is state of Louisiana is moving into a new crash platform. So by January 2022, all agencies within the state will be using a a single crash platform. Some of that will be able to link in with Mark 43, and we think we'll also be able to enhance our commercial vehicle inspection interface with Mark 43 using parts of that platform. So we're excited about that. So the next steps for us will be to just continue to utilize Mark 43 as a centralized platform for all of our technology platforms going forward. DWI reporting, we have a separate system for that, but we're exploring how either we build something within Mark 43 or integrate that system so that we have connection. Our eCrash, which I just mentioned, we'll have by the end of this year, beginning of 2022. E-citation is another piece that we're exploring and trying to look at what those operations are. But all of it, the flexibility in the Mark 43 system will give us the ability to interface with that for all of our data aggregation and reporting. And so we're excited not only for the benefits of the system that Mark 43 is providing, but also to use that as the centralized platform so everything that we do can build off of it, where our troopers can sign in, they can work with CAD. Everything will start with CAD. From CAD, it can either move into RMS, DWI reporting, crash reporting, or e-citation, but ultimately it all then lands back into the Mark 43 RMS, which will be our centralized repository for the data aggregation, reporting, and statistics. It's a lofty goal, but we're hoping to get most of this done by January of 2022. So that's the information that we have available for us. And as this is a recording instead of the live presentations, please contact Mark 43 with any comments or questions you have about our presentation or how we're moving forward with the implementation. They can absolutely send those questions to me. We'll be more than happy in any way we can to assist you and from our lessons learned, or in cases if you already experienced something that we've talked about today and you think we can learn from you, absolutely. Please reach out to us. We're excited to be part of the Mark 43 family, and we look forward to continuing to work with the company and its partners to build out law enforcement technology. Have a great day.